So I wanted to share something interesting that happened today. I've been looking at it for over a year now and kind of just waiting to see what happens. But as probably you know, we don't have any debt, anything that would show up on a credit report, right? So nothing should physically be there. There's not really much information. But there's two aspects that are still keeping my credit report active. The first is that we have really great credit history, but no active accounts. And credit history does count on your credit report for 7 years until it just kind of falls off after the 7 year mark. It's considered no longer good information, so it just kind of falls away. So right now we're waiting on the 7 years to just kind of peter away before the entirety of the credit is completely gone. But there was also one hard inquiry from when we started getting vetting different apartments for when we moved up to the New England area. So when we moved up here, apartments that you're serious with do check your credit. It's something that's due diligence on their portion of it. At the time, our credit was really, really good. I know mine was in the 720s 2 years ago, which is how long it takes for hard inquiries to fall off your report. But back then, credit was really awesome and capable of doing pretty much whatever we wanted to. It's not like 780 or 800, but it doesn't really need to be 780 or 800 for renting an apartment. So there wasn't any explanation of, hey, we have credit that is in this range, and that's just kind of something we want you to factor in when you're looking at those reports. Kind of like a preface. If you have questions, we can pull our full report and give that to you so you can see all the good history we do have, as well as, we can supply all of the utility bills and whatnot. If you're looking to get an apartment and you have no credit or bad credit or whatever, if you have proof that you consistently pay rent, that's all a landlord is really going to care about. And you have proof that you can pay bills and keep up with everything. You can also sit with them, explain your budget. Here's how we expect to be able to pay your rent. Here's our income statements and all that fun stuff. If you don't have credit, or if you have bad credit and you're fixing it through a debt payoff process or whatever other process you're working with. So essentially what I want to talk about today is because credit reports are specific to the person, I had a credit report that had a hard inquiry on it back in 2017. And just now it fell off because it's been over 2 years. It's no longer considered good, accurate information. And now it's just not part of my credit report history, whatever, what have you, anymore. So I was curious to see how my already not great credit score was going to be affected by not having this hard inquiry anymore. Because an excessive number or even any number of hard inquiries does negatively affect your credit score. So the idea is, okay, so that's the only thing on our credit report that's really a heavy hitter. What does our credit report look like after that is gone? So pretty much my score was 654 before, where I had absolutely no active accounts, just really good credit history for an extended period, probably all 5 years out of school and a couple years while I was in school with one credit card I had back then. So basically, it had all of this good information, all these on-time payments, all these zero ratings on cards, and all of the student loans that I previously had, as well as the car loan on there, all of them saying really good things, but you have bad credit even though you've paid everything on time. And it's just how this credit score works, and it's completely faulty, and it's 100% silly. But anyway, I was interested in seeing how that would affect that hard inquiry dropping off, at least initially affect my credit report and my credit score. So I checked TransUnion and Equifax, as well as Chase puts out a credit score as well, which is aggregated from one of those entities. And essentially it just rose by about 3 or 4 points, depending on which union you look at. So it went from 654 to 657, 658. It's still bad. It's still bad by normal general standards. It did increase though, which is interesting. So it's just kind of another layer of the onion falling apart, figuring out how this credit score thing actually functions on the back end. Whenever you don't have a any active anything that relates onto a credit report, any active debts that would be reported to a credit score. So pretty much, I don't see too many people talking about what happens when you're in between the whole, hey, I'm debt free, I have no liens or anything to my name, and I have no credit score at this station. I have nothing that can lead into a credit score, but you have 7 years worth of credit history that you have to filter through before your credit score is just completely gone. And that's if you have, just a standard case. If you have an edge case where it's a bankruptcy, you got 10 years before you can get that off, and that's just going to basically tank anything else that you do, because it's the only heavy hitter that you'd have left, essentially. But anyway, I just wanted to share that kind of as a milestone in the progress that we're making towards other financial goals. This isn't really a financial goal because it's just your credit score. To us, it doesn't impact our finances at all. It doesn't impact the rate that I have on my auto insurance. I've directly asked them that. I've also directly asked for renter's insurance, car auto insurance. Pretty much those are the main ones we have. Health insurance doesn't give a crap. And our apartment rent was exactly the same. The only difference was they raised the deposit. So we have more money with the apartment complex, which honestly this apartment complex would charge us anyway, because it seems to be a standard for this company that we're working with. So personally, doesn't really impact us. We have the money to be able to pay the extra $5 or $6 you would save on a credit score rating if you were in the 800s. But honestly, it doesn't really factor in to anything we do. It's just another metric that basically everybody needs to know. It doesn't impact your life nearly as much as you would think it does. So that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to talk about today. There's other aspects of the credit score that are interesting to me, and maybe I'll get into those in the future if it's interesting to you. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. Pretty much, it goes up by a ridiculously minor amount, and it's still a number that doesn't matter.